Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to 31 Days of Cutfiles, and I am also playing along with Off the Board, which means I'm using a Pinterest pin for some inspiration. This is the pin that I chose, and I am going to do a single page layout. I am using the Get Out and Go cut file, and the white piece of paper there I have was in my scrap paper. It was just a piece that I had done a little mixed media on at one point, or yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I was using it for, you guys, to be honest with you. But it was in my scrap bin, and I thought, oh, this already has mixed media on it. I'm going to go ahead and use it. So I added a little bit of Stormy Sky ink, Distress Oxide ink, through one of Sandy's stencils. It's her airplane stencil. I love it. And so I did that, and then I pulled out the larger of my three hexagon punches, and I punched several hexagons. I am going to put some Nouveau drops through the stencil that you see there with the geotags on it. And I think that stencil is from Simple Stories. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what it's from. These stencils that I have are pretty old and have been in my stash for a while. The one that I'm currently running some gray through is from Stamperia. And I'm just using the gray that's left over from some other project on my blending brush. I did not pull out any gray ink or anything like that. The Nouveau drops that I'm using is navy blue, and they're quite old as well. Been in my stash for a long time. I haven't bought Nouveau drops in many years, and I have a lot of them and rarely use them. And so it is kind of like my favorite way to use them. It's through a stencil. I never use them as drops, or I shouldn't say never. I rarely ever use them as drops. I prefer them this way. And so I'm going to let that sit to the side and dry. Some of them were not super clear. Nouveau drops are a little runnier than stencil butter or paper glaze or texture paste. So sometimes they do mush out the bottom of the stencil, and that's okay. I probably just won't use those ones, or, it's mixed media. It's not a big deal if they're not perfect. So that's the way I look at it. I'm going to clean up this little mess, and then I'm going to move on to working on something else, and I have no idea what that is off the top of my head. Apparently it's putting together the cut file. So the cut file is already inked up because it, again, is one of the ones that I demoed during the release video for the whole series and the cut file bundle. So when we first showed the cut files, what was included in the bundle, I had already inked it up so everybody could see it. But you can see here I am inking the very bottom piece. I had left it white for the video, but I've decided for this particular layout I want it black, so I went ahead and inked it up with some Black Soot Distress ink and a black blending brush that I got on Amazon. I bought those big round ones just to try them out. I wasn't sure if I was going to like them or not, and I didn't want to spend a ton of money on something I wasn't sure I was going to like. So I just bought some cheap ones on Amazon to kind of see if they were something that I enjoyed. And actually, I find I like them quite a bit. Actually, I probably like them better than my other blending brushes, to be honest with you. Just because I'm impatient, and they've got a lot of surface area, and they're nice and flat, so they cover a lot in one go. Okay, anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and glue everything down, just using my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive to glue it all down. I am committed to the blue and the green here. I could have probably changed those colors, but they go really well with the photos that I'm using, which are very similar to yesterday's photos, except for today's photos feature more of the little guy that I take care of instead of Big Sister. Actually, the two photos I'm using today have all three of the kids in it. It was really hard for me to get a picture of him by himself because he was always right there with the girls. But yesterday's photos had Big Sister by herself in two of them. So anyway, this one's going in his album, and I am just distressing the edges of my paper, just roughing it up. I think it looks really good, kind of roughed up like that, because everything else is very distressed. Some mixed medias, you want them to be kind of neat and tidy. In this one, I am going with a more grunge look, and I'm pretty happy with that. I did pull out a piece of blue washi tape from 49 and Markets, probably from their Everywhere collection. And then I just tore it lengthwise, I guess, so it would have a rough edge along one edge. And then I pulled out some periwinkle blue Dilutions shimmer spray. I don't know why I can't talk today. And I sprinkled that around. And then I used some more of that Stormy Sky ink around the hexagons. I don't know how many I'm going to be using yet, so I just went and did a bunch of them. And then I pulled out my Bundled Sage Distress Oxide ink, and I rubbed that around, or on the right hand side of the black paper, and then I'm rubbing it around on my background paper as well to add some more green to it. And Stormy Sky and Bundled Sage are the two colors I believe that I used on the cut file. If they weren't, they were the closest match in my swatch book. So that's why I decided to use those two colors, because I want it to go along with that cut file inking that has already been done quite a bit ago. So adding a little bit more of the green, bringing it in from the edges, I think that's going to help it a little bit. While I do that, I was going to tell you to go and check out MK's channel, although I'm not sure if she's got a video up quite yet today. I know she is a little bit behind, and she is working to get caught up, so bear with us. We will have videos for every day. It's just, sometimes life gets in the way. And yeah, I wasn't sure I was going to get this one up in time, in fact, but I did. So anyway, I am going to ink up the edges of some of these hexagons just using my black Muji pen, giving it a very sketchy border just to give it more dimension and depth. And then I pulled out these rub-ons. These are from the 49 and Market Spectrum Gardenia collection. And I'm pulling out some of the arrows. I'm pulling out some of that diagonal distressed stripe, and then some of the definitions. So I think one says awesome, one says maybe amazing, I'm not sure, but they all seemed to apply. Off the top of my head, I just can't remember, because I have to tell you, when you're doing 31 layouts in a row every day of the month, it gets a little confusing when you've done 3 or 4 layouts and you go back to voice one that you did four layouts ago. So I apologize that I do not remember what they say, but they'll be in the close-ups, and I don't know, maybe I'll be able to tell here in a minute. I am so sorry, you guys. We really do enjoy this project. It's just been August is a really busy month for me at work, with having all 3 kids home for a good portion of the month. And they started school this year, I think about a week later than they did last year. So, 2/3 of the way through the month, I had 3 kids still every day, and I'm just really tired. So trying to keep up with everything, not just scrapbooking wise, but keeping up with life in general has proven to be a little bit difficult. And then throw in a trip to Idaho in there as well to visit my parents. Yeah, it's just been a really busy month. So bear with me. We're still going here. And anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do those rub-ons. I really like the way that this looks. I did pull inspiration from the piece, or the pin that I had from Pinterest, and I think it was really cute. It looks like it's a card to me, but I'm swapping it out to be a layout, and I really like that. I like being able to pull inspiration from things other than that, things that are specifically scrapbooking, although card making is scrapbooking adjacent, so maybe that doesn't count, but that is my favorite thing to do, is pull things that are not scrapbooking and get some inspiration from those things. So I think otherwise I'm tempted to follow along really closely if it's like another layout that I'm getting inspiration from. I tend to like scrap lift it instead of just pull inspiration, and that's not really my goal. So hopefully this one isn't, doesn't look like it's a direct scrap lift, which I don't think it does. But anyway, I wasn't really going to add a third definition up at the top, but I kind of felt like it needed it. So here's my third one. It's going on. I am going to add a little bit of the diagonal stripe and a couple of arrows off to the right hand side on the black paper, and you can see it just fine. The rub-ons do show up on black paper, even black on black, they show up, and having that inking underneath really makes them pop. And then I am going to go back in with Sandy's stencil, and I am going to do a little bit more of the airplanes on the right hand side, but in black. So they're just going to peek through the inking that I did because I'm going over them in black. I did add a little bit more of that periwinkle blue just now, and I'm liking how it's coming together. I did accidentally move my stencil while I was doing it, so I just went right back over it with the bundled sage color, and then again with the black, just to bring in the tip of the airplanes coming in from the right hand side of the page. So I like how that looks. I think it all adds to the layout, even if it's not super bold and in your face. Okay, let's see here. We have joyful, awesome, and I think amazing. I don't know. Yep, amazing. So those are the ones that I chose to put on here. That is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. Thanks for spending time with me. I really do appreciate it. And thanks for coming back each day during 31 days and checking out my videos. I hope that you're enjoying them and inspired to get your cut files out and get them used on a layout. I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another one. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.